Oh my gosh. Hey, you guys. How are you?
Hey, I'm so glad you guys all made it.
We're so glad that you guys came today.
Oh, I brought these adapters you were hoping I had.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're such a lifesaver. Wow. Okay. So I want
to. Shoes are optional, right? Whenever we choose.
Yeah, just take your. Yeah, you took. Sure, I took my shoes off. So, oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, thank you so much for coming here today. We're glad. I'm going to introduce you to our peeps. Come on over here. So this is my dear friend Sheri. We've been working with doTERRA for 4 years together. Love and adore her. And so she is excellent in everything that she does, I think. She thinks she's funny. She's going to shoot me afterwards. What did you do that to me? But Sheri is just phenomenal. She knows these oils really, really well. Super excited to be able to be here with you today to have her help us with Get Real. This is her brainchild, and we're so happy because she and I, we talk at least twice a month, sometimes more, but at least twice a month. And she's on our second level, and she is frontline to Jody Lewis. For those of you who don't know Jody Lewis, this is her sister and her business partner. And anyway, so she and I were talking this one day, and she came up with this really awesome idea, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. And so Get Real was born from this fabulous mind sitting to my right, standing to my right. So, and then this is Rachele. Rachele Gibson is a cross sister on a different team. She's frontline to Danny Smith, for those of you who don't know her. And I love and adore this woman. She's awesome. She's got great ideas. She's got a lot of motivation. And she is very talented at mind, okay? And she is amazing. And so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sharon McDonald. And I am really excited. I run this center with Jody, or not Jody Lewis, Jody is part of that. With Danny Smith, with Mark and Tiffany Flake. The three of us have the contract on this. And we co-collaborate with Erlene and Bill Tilton and Jeff and Diane Shepard and Jared and Marcia Jarvis, okay? So we're really glad that you can all be here with us to experience Get Real. And I'm going to turn the time over to Rachele. She's going to give us a little scoop of this and that. And then Sheri and I are going to make our grand entrance, and we're going to go a little bit further. So you want to start off with our intention and where we're going with this?
So I think sometimes when we are new at the business, or even if we've been doing it a really long time, there are some things that we need to look at in ourselves and decide to make some decisions. I think that one of the most important keys to the business is being deliberate. If you deliberately want to move very slowly in the business, great. Just be deliberate about it. Make that what you're planning to do. And so there's a couple ways that we can look at this. We can look at this as a business, or we can look at it as a hobby. For me, this is my business. Let me just give you a little tiny bit of background. September 9th, 2009, I went to my first doTERRA class, invited by a friend of mine, and went with a friend of mine. The two of us went, and I walked out going, that is the biggest load of hooey I've ever heard in my life. And she walked out with Family Musician Kit. She's actually moving to my team today. I just wasn't open. I wasn't open to this. I wasn't, this just didn't speak to me. So anyway, it took a little while. I became friends with Danny Smith, and as they say, the rest is history, and I'm on her team, and it's been amazing. And my business grew really, really fast when I very first started. When I enrolled, what's today's date? October 25th is my 2 years in doTERRA. And so I was kind of like figuring things out. When I first started, I said, yes, I want to do this as a business, but I didn't believe in the product.
Sounds like my husband.
But I trusted my friend that she wasn't lying to me about all the stories she told me about what the oils did. And I figured if she was telling the truth, I wanted to be involved in this. And if she wasn't, I could just get out at any point. You know, no harm, no foul kind of thing. And so obviously over time, and not a real long time, I got more and more convinced about what the oils could do, although my, by nature, skepticism still comes in every now and then. I just barely have gotten really open to the emotional side of the oils, to doing zytoscanning and looking at emotions and essential oils. Like that part has become really big for me. And it took me a long time. So if there are parts of this that you still just can't just give it time. Use everything as much as you can and it'll come. So, so when I first started in October, fast forward to February, and my volume was like 1,200. March, my volume was 6,000, and April, my volume was 18,000 at Hit Gold.
Sweet.
It was like crazy. And then about 2 days later, I essentially had an emotional breakdown. No, that's not funny. I really did. That was not, I know I'm funny, but that wasn't a joke. I really, really did. And it was interesting. Danny and I used to walk in the mornings together, and we went walking, and 2 days after I did this incredible, incredible feat, I just started bawling, which I may do today. Just consider yourselves one. And out of the very inside of me came, you don't matter. And it just was really interesting. So I'm gold now. So I hit gold for the very first time 18 months ago. I'm gold now. It's 73 days to diamond is my path right now. December 31st is what I'm shooting for. And will my life end if I don't hit diamond December 31st? No. If I don't hit diamond December 31st, I will be closer than I've ever been to diamond. And that's what matters. So I'm going for it. It's a huge stretch, but I'm going for it. And I know that inside I'm ready now. I can promise you that if you are stuck somewhere, it has nothing to do with your upline, your downline, your warm market, your cold market. It has to do with you. That's it. It all comes to where are you? Where are you inside? And so it's really hard because I can't give you a checklist about how to be successful, because you have to, I know now that there was a time things got so self-sabotage subconsciously for me that after hitting gold, there was a month I hit elite. Like it just really, and because in my mind, that's what I deserved. In my heart, I was an elite. That's all I could see myself as. So every night, this is where it gets emotional, I look myself in the eye in the mirror, and I say, you're a diamond. And I say, I love you. And you have to be able to do that to be successful at this. Can you hit ranks and do things? Yes. But unless you're there, unless your self is there, it's going to retract to where you actually see yourself. So when you see yourself in this big place, then your business will show that. I don't know how many of you are feeling that or that resonates with you, but I can promise you that it's a fact. So when I talk about a hobby versus business, it's not all about time and it's not all about effort as far as like sharing. Those things are all really important. But that, if I want to run a business, I've got to change me significantly on the inside. And some of you may be way further along than I was at that point, so you might not need as long to figure that out. But that's that difference between a hobby and a business. You make that decision. Your actions show it. You may be saying, I'm doing this as a business. But if you're not doing a mentoring call every week with someone in your upline or somebody who can benefit you, you're not doing this as a business. If you're not spending more than 8 to 10 hours a week, and probably needs even more than that, you're not doing this as a business. If you're afraid to have people around you know that you're in network marketing, you're not doing this as a business. I'm sorry. I'm finally past all the shame and fear that comes with being a network marketer. That's why I know I can be diamond in 73 days. Because I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of what people are going to think of me. I'm not afraid of what they're going to say to me. I'm not afraid of rejection. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm ready. So those are all the things that play a part in that. Now, I'm really excited because we have a little tiny bit of testosterone in the room. I mean, I know John, so there's a lot of testosterone in here. Relative to the numbers. What I meant is these two men bring a lot of testosterone, which isn't typical. Is doTERRA a company run mostly on the leadership range by men or women?
Men.
Women.
Oh, women. Women.
It's women. You know when the men come? When their wife's check gets bigger than theirs. That's when the men come in the business. So most of us are women, and a lot of us as women are moms. And I need you to know that you can do this and still be a good mom. You have to figure out what that looks like. You have to know that that is very doable. I'm in a place now where it's easier for me because my youngest just went to kindergarten. My kids are 9, 8, and almost 6. My youngest is in kindergarten. That opened up a lot of time for me in my day. That month, when I tripled my volume and went gold, my kids were 7, 5, and 3, and I was working a full-time job. I was a high school geometry teacher. So it's possible when you believe it's possible. The thing I want to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about is, and we talk about it a lot, and it used to make me crazy because I was like, this is so dumb, but it's about your why. How many of you, by a show of hands, have a very well-defined, written on something other than a scrap of paper or napkin, why? How many of you have a well-defined, written out why? So those of you that didn't raise your hands, that's step number 1. Let me give you the assignment. If money were no object. So even if you've done your why, rethink this, because I had to kind of readdress mine really recently. If money were no object, what does your life look like? Write it in the present tense. We weren't talking about anything doTERRA related. And she said, I want to just walk into a store and pick something I like and not have to look at the tag. I said, that should be in your why. Because that's obviously something that drives you. I turned 40 next June 12th, 2015. My husband's a contractor. If any of you lived in the area in the last 7 years and know anything about the construction business, it wasn't good. We incurred a lot of debt, chose not to file bankruptcy. June 12th, 2015, the day I turned 40, we will be debt-free. And if you knew the number, you would be like, oh my gosh, that's a long ways to go. That's a huge part of my why. Because that then allows us to be free. We are then no longer shackled by somebody else owning us. So please spend some time on your why. And if it doesn't make you get up in the morning and say, who can I share this with? Work on it some more. Until you find a place where every day you wake up and go, who do I share this with? How do I make this happen? Then your why is not good enough. So that's not, if you have a why written and that's not happening for you, keep writing. If you're not a great writer, do selfie video and watch it every morning of your why. I like to write, and so that works for me. Draw pictures. I'm still learning the vision board thing. If a vision board is more meaningful for you than a why, have things on there that you can accomplish in the next week, in the next month, in the next year. That's what happened to me with my why. My why went so like all-encompassing of my life, it almost stopped motivating me because it wasn't like now. Yeah, so I went, okay, 1 to 3 years, what do I want? And that why brought me back in and made me, but that other why is still ultimately everything I want. But I need something that I can look at and go, okay, I can do that today. Take this one day at a time. There is anxiety in me about this 73 days to diamond. And then making it public, I don't know a lot of you, doesn't matter. I just made it public. I just put it out there. So know that sometimes there is a little anxiety. There's a lot of leaving your comfort zone. You can do this, but you have to be deliberate, and you have to decide. You choose. You choose. The product is unbelievable. The compensation plan is fantastic. The executives are honest. This is the right place if you want to be free, both financially and emotionally. That's what I find. In starting to do doTERRA, I have learned to love myself for the first time in my whole life. before this, there was nothing good in me, according to me. So, with that, turn it over to these two. Thank you.
So, how did you like Rachele? She amazing?
Yes.
How do you feel about that? How close to those feelings do you think really on an emotional level affect your business? 100%, because your thought process and your mindset is going to absolutely be the thing that takes every single day by the horns and either makes or breaks you, right? Right? Do you find that to be true? Mm-hmm. Is it a little scary? How come? Failure. So many people never even start a business like this because they're afraid to fail, right? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Fear. Fear's a big one.
Absolutely. Huge, 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 huge thing.
Still is. Still can be.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I can't do it. Why can't I do it?
It's too hard. They don't think they can.
Right.
They don't have enough confidence to think that.
Right. And not being willing to let go of a little control to gain control, right? So when we give a little bit of control away for someone else to take our hand and walk with us, right, then and only then can we walk down that path. So something that I have found to be very, very true in my life is, will you come and stand by me? Something that I have found to be true in my life, I used to say, didn't I, you've heard me say this, I'm not afraid of anything, right? But what I found is I am afraid, okay? But here's the difference between what I do and how I feel. I absolutely have learned to run with fear, to walk with fear, to dance with fear, and to live with fear. Because I've made fear my friend. Does that make sense? I've learned to absolutely make fear my friend because fear is the thing that pushes me and gives me the adrenaline and the excitement to go ahead and go, okay, I'm going to just close my eyes and I'm going to step off this cliff, right? And so it's not a matter that I don't fear anything, it's just I've learned to live with fear, okay? So that goes way, way back in my history. Way, 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 way back in my history. I mean, I think that was my survival skill, to be truthful, was learning to live with fear, okay? Have you heard the term, feel the fear and do it anyway? How many of you have heard that? Okay, so true. Write it down, live it, love it, breathe it. So
one thing that Sharon taught me too is I've had the fear of teaching classes, going out and talking to people, and when I looked back at why I had the fear, it was the fear of what everybody else thought of me. So now, when I have fear, I'm like, okay, what am I fearful of? Am I fearful of what you're going to think I look like, or what I think you think I'm doing or saying wrong, right? And so that is a fear too that you have to really step back and think, okay, why do I have this fear? Because it doesn't really, you guys aren't judging me, right, the way I think you're judging me, right? And so that fear can prohibit you from doing certain things, and it's all right here.
always.
Always.
She is a totally different person than the day that she started this business.
Yes.
Anybody that's been here and watched her grow has been amazing. Such a beautiful journey. She's got a lot to offer. So what else do you think holds people back?
Well, contacts. I think a lot of the people were feared that we don't have anybody to talk to. So where do we get our contacts? Who do we talk to? Who do we not talk to?
So
it holds back.
for those of you who run in different circles, a lot of times, how many of you heard, okay, 2 contacts a day, 2 follow-ups a day? How many have heard that? Raise your hand for me. Oh, okay, almost everybody. So has anybody ever wondered, what's a contact? Okay, so let's do contact, okay? I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm going to do this. Like pop tea. Hey! Oh my gosh, I love doTERRA! I love doTERRA. Will you come and do doTERRA with me? Please. Oh, okay. What is it? So it's not physical contact. Let's face it. But we know that that's not what a contact is, okay? What's another misnomer that people do for contact? What do they think? What's something that you know that people do? What is their thought process on a contact?
Well, I sent him an email.
Yes.
I sent her an email. Surely she read it, right? And she's going to come to my class. The email just said come. Didn't tell her why, but just, you know. Emails.
What about text message?
Texting.
Hey, I'm having a class. Come on. Bye. See ya.
Right.
Starts at 7. Okay? That's not a contact. When we talk about 2 contacts a day, does it mean when I get something like, okay, so you saw the physical contact, what about, oh my gosh. So I'm standing in the line at the grocery store, and she looks super sad. Okay, she's just sitting there super sad, and I'm looking at her going, you know what, I have this really awesome stuff called Citrus Bliss. You should try it. You look really sad today. Would you like to try some of this? This is doTERRA. It's really awesome. I think you'd really like it. Now, James Bybee might do this and get away with it because James Bybee's James Bybee. But is this really how you want to?
No. You're doing what? What is it? Don't put that on me.
What
are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Go away.
Exactly.
You're my
That's
face.
exactly what they're thinking, right? Right. Instead, Sheri, let's do this, okay? Come to me. Let's talk about what a contact is. This is the 30-second friend.
Wow, I love your bracelet. Where did you get that?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I would love that.
Have you ever heard of Alex and Annie?
I haven't. Where's that?
Well, it's just this cute little jewelry store, and I just fallen in love with my assistant. She picked them out and told me, oh my gosh, I think you'd really like these, and I think they're cool. So I looked at them and, yeah, thanks so much.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I like your bracelets.
Thank you. So this is actually a bracelet for my company, because I work for companies. It's amazing.
Uh-huh.
I actually educate people on how to use essential oils to replace medicine.
the door.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So what's an essential oil?
Essential oils are just extracts from plants. It's so simple. It's amazing.
Ah.
Yeah, so what do you do for a living?
Well, you know, I'm a mom.
Moms, they're the best.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't get enough credit being moms, right?
Yeah.
Because you're the physician, and you're the counselor, and you're all those things, right?
So can essential oils help me with my kids?
Oh my gosh, they totally can. Yeah.
So how do I get more information about this?
So I'm actually having a class tomorrow. You can come to my class, or here's
Well,
my
I'm-
business card. I'll give you my business card, and you can give me your information. I can call you. Would you like the sound? You know, I don't know. Ooh, at this point.
Very
Gold
good.
plate just went over the board.
But you get, right, you get what it is, right? So at that point, then she stops and lets me tell what about tomorrow. She gives me an invitation, and instead of going on, right, that's usually what we do. We're so excited, like, oh my gosh, I've got somebody, want to reel them in. So we could stop right with, I'm having a class tomorrow, right? Even before she offers a business card, and stop and say, wait for me to reply, because I was going to reply, well, actually, I'm volunteering in my kids' classroom tomorrow. But I have time next week. Do you have another class, right? So then make that offer to go to another class. I'm up for it.
Right.
So then when it comes to the exchanging of information, I'm a big fan of putting it in the phone and sending a text message right away, right? So that, did you get that? I got that. Did you get that? You know, kind of doing that back and forth. And sometimes not even a business cards, because you know what? A drop of oil in a hand, like, did you have something that, oh my gosh, this is awesome for kids, right? So what would be an awesome oil for kids that we would have ready to go in our pocket?
Breathe.
Breathe.
Yeah, breathe.
Okay, so let's try that. Start there. So do you have anything that would help with my kids?
I do. So you know what? Breathe is one of my favorites, especially this time of year.
Uh-huh.
It helps with allergies and just anytime respiratory, so you can smell that.
Wow.
This is actually my.
What's this for?
And it works for
Respiratory?
husbands too. My husband used to use inhalers, and now we have no inhalers in our home. We have Breathe. So
do I just put a drop up my nose?
So you can I want to say, put it up your nose.
Put it up there.
So this is how you would use it. You can put it in your nose, or you can put it in your hands. You can breathe it in. For children, just put it on the bottom of their feet. Just 1 or 2 drops is all you need.
That is so super cool. Okay, so we use inhalers at our house. Is there a way to use this as an inhaler? Can you teach me? Like, put it in my hand and teach me how.
So you're just going to put a couple drops in your hand.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're going to breathe out. And then
Do I rub my hands or do I just put right
cup
there?
it.
Okay.
And then you're just going to breathe out and then hold it just like you would. Very strong.
Oh my,
Very strong.
wow.
Very powerful.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so what's a contact? 30-second friend. I'm going to take, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Or somebody, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And, you know, then I'm going to go my way, right? You guys are laughing, but I'm telling you, these are mistakes that people make all of the time. What's your favorite mistake that you've seen happen?
And we still make them.
Oh my gosh, I still, yes. Oh my gosh, if you knew some of the stupid things that I do. And I'll tell you, I'll share because I'm an open book. Okay, so what are some mistakes that you guys see? Yeah.
My biggest one is just emailing. I don't do the contact like you guys do.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we wonder why they don't show up, right? I actually have people on my team as a leader say, I emailed you. Because even as a leader, I'm off teaching people and talking to people, and so my email is like the last thing I do. I need to be better at sitting down office hours, and I don't. But sometimes people don't even open their emails.
Oh, yeah.
Or wait a couple days before they even turn their computer on, right? So thanks for sharing that. Anybody else?
Rachele?
The less comfortable it is, the more effective it's going to be. So the least comfortable thing to do is call someone. That's going to be the most effective. Next is texting, next is email, next is Facebook.
I am a big fan of walking an invitation to their door and taping it. Okay, so can I pick on you for just a minute?
Sure.
Okay, so you are a guy, and how do you...
Thank you for letting us know.
Come on up here.
Yeah.
Guy, come on up. Introduce yourself to us. What's your name?
I'm Steve Blevins.
Okay, and where are you from?
Originally born in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Just have been all over the country, really.
I bet that we might be related. My husband's family is from Oklahoma like that, and they were in all the Indian territories. Because
So
he's
you
like,
get around.
I know.
Without oil.
I know. So how were you introduced to doTERRA? Share with us.
Mo is my roommate here in Cave Creek, and her son is my godson. And she, in the winter, in the spring and summer, I work in New Mexico and Wyoming, Colorado area, and I come back here in the winter, and her and I have been best friends for 15 years. She indicated here, I don't know when it was, a few months ago, that she had made contact with somebody on doTERRA. I used to be I rodeoed for 26 years, but in amongst all that, I raised a family, and I had a bunch of retail stores, I owned a bunch of furniture, electronics, appliance stores. My dad was an old horse trader, so we've been selling all of our lives. And she has really gotten interested in doTERRA and asked me if I'd be interested, and so I said yes, naturally, if it's something that, you know, that will help people, and there's some potential for monetary gain, and all it had to do was selling, because I can sell anything I believe in, but I first want to believe in it and understand it and know what it does, that I would be interested. So when I just got back in a couple of days ago, and she indicated y'all had a deal here, so I said, I'm on my way with it.
Awesome. Awesome. So what's the biggest mistake that women make sharing essential oils with a guy?
Believe in anything he says. No. Ask that again, I'll try to be an ass. That's hard for me.
It's okay.
That's probably true.
So what's the biggest mistake you see that women would make coming to a man and sharing essential oils with them?
Well, I don't know that I know enough about them. The first thing when Mo mentioned it to me, and we talked about it, I said, first off, study, 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 and know what you're talking about before you open your mouth to anybody, man, woman, or beast. Because the second thing they're going to say after you say hello is ask you a question that you don't know the answer to. And in sales, you seldom get a third or fourth opportunity to keep saying, I don't know, but I'll find out. I don't know, but I'll find out. So you really need to know your product and have to believe in the fact that it works. Men, I would assume, would be, you know, kind of their first thought would probably be negative. Is oils, or is this, you know, is that a girly thing, or, you know, so they probably don't have a true knowledge of what it does, or really give a damn. It's not a cold can of Bud Light.
Right, and then you have people like John who have been on the journey who absolutely love him, but you never know who's who and what's what, right?
Exactly.
So just being authentic. Don't you think if a woman was authentic and just really just...
I think the truth is shall set you free, as the old saying goes.
Right on.
Only say what you mean and know what you're talking about, because bullshit usually gets carried out. Excuse my language.
No.
But people, man, woman, and child, you smell it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what you're talking about, you'll lose more solid contacts by trying to rush with the entry. You know what I mean? And you'll just talk them into and out of it, and then they're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they'll ask you 2 or 3 questions that you don't have the answer to because you're not prepared. So therefore, you're stumbling around and humming and hawing, and they're done.
Awesome.
That's been my experience anyway in sales.
Thank you so
know what
much.
heck you're talking about.
All right, thanks. One thing that I did when I first started, when we started this business, the economy was tanking and everyone was losing their houses. And do you remember, you know, that was 4 years ago, okay? In Arizona, 4 years ago, everyone was losing their homes. And not everyone, but a big majority, okay? And we happened to sell our house at the same time as this was going on, right? On inspiration, we just had this feeling, sell your house, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we did. And it wasn't out of a financial need. We weren't over our head. It was seriously by inspiration. And we lived in a little rental home that was with 5 children, a brand new baby, for 1 year, right by where you live actually now. And I remember that when we did that, I decided to start this as a stinking business, literally 5 months into it. I mean, well, yeah, because Micah was 2 years old when we started this, right? But no, he was a year. 2010, he was born in 2009. He was a year old. Actually, I keep saying to everybody he was 2. He wasn't 2, he was 1. So, at any rate, my point of bringing this up was that it was not a cool time to start a network marketing business. Because what's everyone's perception? No one has any money, but even more so, she's doing this because she's desperate, right? And I totally was the furthest thing from desperate. Okay, so what I did, especially with the men that I introduced, I would do this, and hardcore women that I knew were sharp, and not that everybody isn't sharp, but keen on, like, don't sell me, right? People like myself, like, do not sell me on anything, because man, I'm not skeptical. I will shut the door. And just be my friend, be authentic. Truly, just come to me because you love me and you want my opinion, you want to share with me, but don't sell me on anything, right? So, what I would do is I would give a sample out, okay, so eucalyptus, I'd go to my friend, and you know what, I have started a business that I'm super passionate about. I love, love, love what I'm doing, but I have 0 experience with eucalyptus. And I know that your family suffers from respiratory and a couple of other issues, that eucalyptus is really good. Because seeing this book right here, and pull out the book, and I would show and I would share, or I would take a picture of it and send that by phone so that they could read it while we had a conversation, or by email, or by Google, by Skype. It didn't matter. I found a way, but I always used that doggone A to Z guide as a way for me to get my foot in the door. And I would say, I just would love your opinion because I don't have experience, but I need some stories to share from the people that I trust the most, and I trust you, so can you please try this and get back to me on it? Is that scary? Is that authentic? Yep. 100%. It goes back to what you said, right? Be authentic, don't, and so for me, I had experiences with essential oils, but not a ton. So my go-to, because I knew I had to get this done right now, I didn't have time to sit and educate, but I knew I needed to love this product. So we used it every day. We became everyday essential oil users. And we had classes all the time, didn't we? All the time. 3 and 4 classes a week, plus the people we were sharing doing one-on-ones with. It was a busy time. And so keeping on top of that, I used that. One mistake that I didn't do was not using that book. Because I did become an essential. Jody made the same mistake at the beginning. And I remember she and I had a conversation about it. That allowing people to come and use us as the encyclopedia, right? Because it came super easy to me, and she'd had way more experience at it, right?
Well, and once you help 5 people with allergies, do you remember what helps allergies?
Right here.
When you start helping people on these basic problems, then it stays in our mind and it's just right there. But we still have to show them how they can look it up, right? How they can be their own expert, right? I think that's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Because you don't want to be the expert. You want to be the expert in a different way, not an expert. All right, Sheri has a really awesome one that this is super common. We're going to talk about casualness within our classes, okay?
Well, first of all, before I leave, do you want to talk about your clothes that you want?
Oh yeah. Okay. So
this was purpose. She did this
on purpose. Okay.
And we kicked off our shoes on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
right?
on purpose. We came in late on purpose. Okay. So my outfit, I threw it on because so often, how do you think that the things that we wear communicate a story?
Huge.
It's
huge.
Huge. Okay, so share that with us. Why is that huge?
Oh my gosh, because people make a judgment about you in the first 3 seconds that they look at you.
That's right.
So you can come across as being put together and like you put an effort into how you look, or you can come across, and which makes people automatically, they're drawn to you, they will listen to you. It's just the way that it is. If you walk in, you're not put together, you're disheveled, your clothes are wrinkled, whatever, people automatically go, it's just the way we are. It's just the way we are.
Right.
It's sad that we have to be that way, right? Because sometimes we don't know the situation, but it totally is that way.
Well, and I'm so sorry,
ahead.
but because I've been to a few whatever classes, and the people that are put together, you immediately have more confidence that they're successful, they know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, versus somebody that comes in and they're just not. They look like they're getting ready to clean their house rather than teach a class. It just doesn't come across well at all.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
were you
that's
surprised? Were you surprised when I came in this? Were any of you surprised at all?
I was shocked.
You were
I was shocked. I knew as soon as I seen. But I love you anyway.
Oh yeah.
Well,
He looked at me like, this place is a joke. Like, look at the way I go, she's normally dressed to the nines. He was ready to go.
It was really hard for me this morning when I got up because I have another class at noon today, right? I'm teaching how to teach class in a box. So it was hard for me when I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to, what am I going to do? And so I remembered what I wore Saturday cleaning the house, right? And what I did, so I was like, oh my gosh, I can wear that outfit, I could put this top on afterward, blah, 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 blah. So I threw this on, and last time I wore hot pants and a t-shirt, and everybody came into the class and they were shocked. So the reason why we're talking about this is there's a time in a season, because let me share one story. I think I've shared this with you. I was in Washington State, I was in Diamond Club, and I went to a little teeny tiny town called Yelm, Washington. Does anybody know Yelm?
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so people in Yelm don't dress even like that, do they? Oh no, they're wearing this. And they're wearing their flannel, and no one would had any confidence in what I was going to say. They thought I was a from the, oh absolutely. Absolutely, no eye contact, no friendliness, nothing at all. So, know your audience, right? It's huge. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you're going to be, well, if you're not, many stay-at-home moms, if you are going to speak to stay-at-home moms, are you going to come in your high heels and your dress? No,
No, but there's class to dressing down.
Right.
Right? There's
So
class.
talk about that.
Well, so just because we're moms doesn't mean I don't put my makeup on every day, right? I put jewelry on every day, even though I'm staying home. In fact, and when my kids were little, I didn't. But as they got older, I did. I remember my kids, I'd get all dressed up. My kids were like, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I think they get all freaked out. Us moms do dress up. It's okay. So be careful. When you know your group, you still have to look the part, or
Right.
feel like you have to look the part.
And if you're reaching to this younger generation, they still look super cute and super fun, and you gotta still do your thing.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually was taking some time before I went to work this morning to drive around and look for housing. And I was inside an RV park and I went in the wrong gate. And one of the people followed me, one of the owners or something of one of these mobile homes was following me around. And so they kept following as I'm looking around and looking around. So I finally stopped the car and I got out and I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, are you following me?" She said, "You went in the wrong gate, and you're supposed to have a little label, and blah, 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 blah. And we have all these people that come in and break in, and you look like you're someone who would break in." And I said, "Gee, I'm a nurse, and I certainly wouldn't want to break in or do anything." As well, you look like one of those hooligans or something. And it's so true. I thought, well, maybe because my hair was, I don't know. Whatever.
Can you come up and show everybody what you look like right now, just so we know what you're talking about?
So totally true. I work at a doctor's office.
You
I've
look
been a nurse
professional
now.
to me.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
but
Come on over here where we can see
I got
the camera.
pulled over
It's
by
so
the
cute.
RV police. And so anyway, but it is absolutely true because I will go into different places and people will just assume,
Yeah.
a certain thing.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. So one other little thing on that. I know that Nordstrom's trains, because I used to do makeup with them and perfume to earn extra money. And they will train their people. Do not make assumptions by the way someone is dressed. Absolutely not. You cannot do it. Because if you do it, you're going to lose a sale. Because you could have somebody who's making millions of dollars come in.
Warren Buffett.
Right, exactly. Warren Buffett, totally just in their duds.
White
and
socks, black shoes.
absolutely. I mean, everything you would not think would be shopping at Nordstrom.
But unfortunately, we do that, right? We already admitted that we all do that, so.
I think from my experience, when you feel put together, no matter what that is
That's
for
right.
you, you have more confidence.
Absolutely.
And your confidence, it just radiates out of you. So if you're confident, you don't have to be wearing something that's brand new, that's complete,
That's right.
as long as you know you look good and you feel that, they will get that.
And that's pretty much what this class is about, right? It's walking your walk. So that's why we want to bring it up. But sometimes we have, at least on my team, I feel like I have people who think they're really dressed up, and they're not, okay? That's hard because they feel like they're put together, but when I look at them, the cowboy boots and the t-shirt down to here and those boogers on the side of the shirt, where they're, that to me isn't put together, okay? So it's a really fine line when we're trying to train and help our people that we love and care about, right? Find that fine tuning in what they're wearing. So we have to be very careful when we're talking to people. You're not going to go, and say to them, not, right? But be very kind and gentle when you talk to people, and help them to realize that they need to just make it just a little bit more of an effort. Okay.
Right.
I had a really nice conversation that I was trying to encourage someone about their dress, and I was really good. I wasn't offensive, and her reply back to me was that she says, "You wouldn't believe the homes that I am able to get into, and see the people." In other words, how she looked was who she could reach others that weren't all fancied up. And so the key there, like you're teaching, is that you need to know where you're going and who you're talking with. And so, everybody's got their own idea of what they think that they should look like to be successful. So you know.
That's a fine line.
Yeah, and I'm not being recorded, so I have to be careful. But I also feel like we attract
Right.
Absolutely, that's
the
what I was
people
gonna say.
that, we're gonna attract the people that we fit the part, okay?
It is so true, John, please.
So much more than like what types of jeans I'm wearing or type of shirt. I mean, it's important to look nice or to at least look put together, but the body language to me says so much more. So when you girls came in, and even though I didn't zero in on what you were wearing, but you guys were having fun, so I'm like, I was engaged from the beginning, right?
Okay.
Smile on your face, like if you came in dressed, you know, to dressed up completely, but then looked like you didn't want to be there, you know, without a smile on your face, the audience, you would have lost the entire audience. But the fact that you were having fun, you wanted to be there, you know, that to me, personally, says a lot more. I mean, when I have my consultant hat on, I spend about 75% of the time on the road, so I'm talking to customers, you know, and I've never met them, right? So I'm dressed up business casual, it's nothing fancy, but I go into a room, and I think if you smile, if they can hear it in your voice and your body language will tell that person whether or not you want to be there, right? And then of course you need to be able to talk, but
Right.
so much is dependent upon body language.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for molding this portion of our class. We're going to do one more, maybe two more examples, and then we're going to open up for a question and answer. I really appreciate the participation because it helps when we hear from you, your experience. So Sheri's got a really good one. Are you ready?
Hi guys, thanks for coming today. This could be the best class ever, right? Okay, so can you guys back there see me? Right? Okay, good. I'm glad you can see me. Okay, just let me know if you can't hear me or if you can't see my picture. So, okay. So, doTERRA is based in Utah, and the owners. Yeah. Okay. Now I don't need that part. Okay. Essential oils. Don't laugh. Essential oils are extracts from plants. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll get my peppermint. Okay. So I'm gonna smell it. Okay. I'm gonna smell it and then. Okay. So you want to smell it? Okay. Yeah. Probably not. Okay. So yeah, so you know, sell it. Oh no, oh no, you don't. Okay, did you guys do that? Okay. So some things I did wrong. Tell me some things that I did wrong.
Everybody.
Sitting down. This is a big one.
Sitting down
right?
backwards.
Sitting down backwards like a lady.
Okay, so even if I sat this way and I had all you guys, is that okay?
No.
Why not?
It's too casual.
It's casual.
You're not wrapping the attention of the
They
audience.
can't see. Does it give me confidence to sit here?
No.
Does it show you that I have confidence?
No.
No. Right? This is where I need to be. Okay. What else did I do wrong?
Standing gives you power.
Gives you power. It does.
Reading is horrible.
Okay. Reading is horrible, but it's not. In
You
a
can
part.
have notes.
You can
have notes.
Verbatim.
And you
That's
can
right.
read little blurb, little parts, but you can't read the whole thing.
Know what you're reading. That's exactly right. Know what I'm reading. Know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
And have something to add to what you're reading off of,
Perfect.
like an example or something.
So reading is okay, especially when you're new, right? In fact, some of the tear pads that we have, you can read in word per word, but still interact, okay? So I'm not saying that reading's not good, because sometimes when we start, we have to read it, right? We have to start somewhere in our knowledge. Okay, what else did I do? What's that? Oh, I know, oh, yeah, okay, all right, be confident, okay? What about pass the oils around, right? It's not gonna do me any good to smell all the oils if you guys don't get to smell them, right?
What about not bringing your oils to a class?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sharon's done that once.
I did it one time. I'm not kidding. Seriously, I told you guys I'm wrong.
We've all done it. Well, I haven't done that part yet, but.
Not only I got lost and I was late on top of it. It was awful. So when I got there, all I had were the oils in my bag. Thank heavens I really do live the part, because I taught that class out of everything I had in that bag, and it was totally fine. They did not like the fact I was late. I want to show you.
Who does? Who likes it when people are late? And who likes it when they say it's going to be an hour and it's 3?
Oh my gosh.
That's worse.
Do not take 2 classes and try to make 1 class out of it. Oh my gosh, big mistake. Do 1 topic at a time. If you want it to be about cellular health, make it be cellular health. But don't try to take cellular health and put it into a basic essential oils class. It's not going to work.
And if you put on your flyer that it lasts an hour, it needs to last an hour. So practice in the mirror, practice in front of your dog, whatever it takes to get that down to an hour. If it takes you longer, put longer on your flyer, because people's time is money, okay? And you're setting the stage, and you're also letting them know that, oh, she doesn't respect my time. Why would I want to work for her? Or be on her team, or even take her opinion as truth.
Dina, you had something. Can you share what was in your
Well,
bag?
I was just going to say, there have been a couple occasions that I've done and everybody's sitting at the table.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I've sat down at the table with them.
Absolutely.
But for the most part, yes, of course, standing is fabulous. But occasionally, if
Okay,
you know
yeah.
your audience.
There's
or-
actually a presidential diamond couple that actually do sit down in their classes. That's their structure. They sit down in the front in chairs while everybody else, just to make it more intimate.
But it's probably one of those where everyone has eye
Absolutely.
contact,
Right.
and it's only a handful of
The
people.
setup.
Right.
So you're right, there is a time and place to
Right.
sit.
Right.
Absolutely.
But typically, no.
Thank you, yeah.
I want to share something with you that Sheri actually came up with out of need, right? Out of total necessity. Because she was scared to death to talk to people. This is brilliant. So she came up with this lovely flip chart, okay? And it tells you everything to say. So it gives pictures and it tells you. So it shows you that there's a lavender field so you know what's on the front, and it says start your story. Hi, my name is Sheri Norton, right?
So this isn't a sales pitch, I don't know why
No.
she brought this.
Right.
But, this isn't a sales pitch, but this is my story, okay? When you were to see me 4 years ago, I would teach a class, and I would go out and I'd throw up and I'd cry.
Oh.
Okay? I was so afraid of what everyone else thought of me and what I was teaching. And I always get emotional when I bring this out.
Do you still use that?
So I still hold it, okay? Because I want people to see how easy it is to teach a class, all right? I don't read it anymore. I don't have to read it. And I still will pretend like I'm reading once in a while because I really do want people to see that it really is easy to teach from it. But I sold jewelry before I did doTERRA. And jewelry was easy, okay? I just put the jewelry out and it sold itself. But doTERRA is different, okay? You have to educate, you have to teach, and there's a little more to it. And there's a lot more that you have to remember. And so I did this for a couple reasons. One, it's easy to teach, but mainly when I hold this in my mind, people are looking here and they're not looking at me, okay? That was my biggest fear, right? And it has all the notes. So if you have someone in your class that gets you off schedule or gets you off of your thought process, it gets you right back onto schedule, okay? But really the main reason I did this was because I needed something to hold to take the focus off of me and then get past that fear. It's a really great visual, okay? So, like I said, we weren't, that wasn't a sales pitch. That, I don't even care if I make money on that. It's because I just want to help people to get past the fear that I had.
So we want to thank you so much for coming. Did you learn something today? Okay, do you understand why we created Get Real? I'm so glad that you came up with this idea, and I'm so grateful that you were able to bring in your experience piece. Because mindset is very real. It affects absolutely everything that we're going to do. It affects if we're going to go even when it comes down to moving from like a higher rank, say even diamond to blue diamond to presidential diamond. It is a huge step, because if you can't see yourself there and believe that you can be there, you're not ever going to get there, okay? So having a plan and totally believing it, and a lot of times we feel inadequate. But those are lies that we've told ourselves for a really long time. So do you have any questions for the three of us that you would like to ask right now, or do you? Yes.
I just had a question about it. I think I heard you, but can you tell me how long each of you have been doing it and what rank each of you are? You already said it, I apologize.
No, that's okay. No, we haven't actually.
I came into doTERRA or started
Yeah, when you started.
2 years ago this week.
Okay.
I'm gold.
And you're gold. I heard that. Okay.
So I have been doing this for 4 years, and I am a blue diamond.
And I've been 4 years and I'm a platinum. So, I had a year of fear.
Okay.
That would be a good book title, actually.
Yeah.
My year of fear. I see that in your future. Year of fear. So, any other things?
When you, because I've done what you said about handing out oils to people that you know, like I don't have acid reflux, but my friend does, so I've asked her to use the digestive and tell me, you know, their story. But I'm too afraid to call them and ask them, and they never call me.
You have to get over it.
Yeah, just have to do it.
I mean, really, you have to.
So have you already given them a sample, or you just know that you have? Okay. So, go ahead, Sheri. No.
Go by and
Really.
see them. That might be less scary than calling.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing, Sheri, what else? I can relate to her. I know, I get it. I had so many tears for those first couple of years. And I still do every once in a while. I still will, I'll look at my phone and go, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, okay? Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Go visit them, or just say, you know what, I was thinking about you today. How are you doing? You know, did it work for you, or did it not?
Or did you even use it?
Or did you even use it? Right? And you're not going to hurt my feelings if you didn't use it.
Right.
You're my friend. I care about you. This isn't a sales pitch. Use those things that are really in your heart and verbalize them. I mean, it's super important. We care about the people we You have tears for a reason, okay? So you care about her. So just call and check on her. See how she's doing. So I have an aunt who, we gave her samples like 2 years ago. And I called and said, 2 years ago I called and said, will you have a class for me? Please, 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 you know, blah, 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 threw up all over her. And she's like, no, not really, not interested. Well, about 2 months ago, I went to her home and said, hey, can I take you to lunch? I'm in town. She lives in Shoalville. And she's like, sure. So we go to lunch, and while we're getting in the car, she's using a cane to get into the car, and I hadn't seen her for a while. Find out that has really bad hip, and so I didn't say anything. We had our lunch, and during lunch, she's like, so why are you here? Why are you, what are you doing in town? I said, oh, I'm teaching at the college. I'm so excited to finally talk about my oils and on a college level. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? And I ended up doing a Aroma Touch on her. I left her with some samples, and now there's a base, okay? So before when I went and I just threw up on her and I wanted to, I had to go back and do the soft approach. It was about her, okay? She's still my aunt, I love her, we went to lunch, and it slowly worked into how can I help you, okay? And sometimes that's what it takes. Just going over in the first couple visits, don't say anything about the oils, especially if it's a friend or family. They're the last ones to trust us when we try something new, right?
What are your suggestions on, because I'm kind of stuck, and I've been facing my fear every day, a little more, because I was kind of the nauseated type too, but, and Tiffany was just asking me, well, get their number. I'm like, oh, but they'll call me if they want it. But I gave them stuff, just strangers, and I think that's hers. The blue diamond up there. Is that your pet?
Sharon, I think you're
Sharon. With a t-shirt on. But I feel embarrassed. Like, I know I'll end up there, but do you have any suggestions?
So you already have her contact information? Or you don't?
No, like, I was at a yard sale and I gave him like a little sample of the doTERRA shield because she was getting eaten up by mosquitoes and I wasn't. So,
there you go. That's awesome. Because you don't have a way to get back in touch, do you?
I do know where she lives. She was having a yard sale.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I'm like, okay,
But now you go back and visit her.
Knock on the door and say, I was thinking about you, like you said, and say,
absolutely.
Did that work for you? And
I was out for a walk, not getting bit by mosquitoes, and as I was walking past your house, oh my gosh, I totally thought of you. How are you doing?
But that's fine, but like, even before that, like,
so before
if
that,
you're a stranger, and how do I say, okay, I gave you oils, now give me your number?
Well, what you would say is, I'm going to give you this sample. Do you mind if I call you in a couple days and see how it worked for you?
Pre-qualified.
Okay. And then you're getting her permission to call her back.
Right.
But also you're getting her contact stuff, her information.
And saying it's really important for me, every body is different, right? Every chemistry is different. So if this doesn't work for you, I'm committed to be able to getting you something that would work for what you're doing. And always give them 3 things. What are your top 3 health concerns? Right? Because if they say diabetes, asthma, and then they say inflammation, okay, those are their top 3. What one are you going to pick to treat right away and get not treat but offer?
Asthma, because it's immediate.
Right.
Yeah.
So respiratory issues are immediate. They take that break, they have a hit of it, they're breathing, and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a breath like this in 2 years, right?
Right.
So pre-qualify, offer 3 options, and then you just say, again, remember, I am committed to getting you something that works. If this doesn't work, there's 3 more options, as you can see in this little A to Z guide or whatever guide you're using, okay? Yeah.
Cool.
So one more thing, and then we have to stop so we keep you on time.
All right. Well, I just wanted to ask, so you want them to have an experience like what you said of coughing? Because that to me is like, oh my gosh, I just hurt you, or made them have too much of a reaction.
No, people will always cough with breathe. I mean, it's like a rarity. When you're doing that and they're having a hit of that into their lungs, oh my gosh, I have never seen anybody not cough.
But I mean, you want them to have their first experience with an essential oil to be coughing like that?
And then also because what they're going to do, when they breathe in, they're going to go.
They don't care. They can breathe.
Oh my gosh, I can breathe. That is wild.
Okay.
Yes, Melissa.
They're very cool.
I actually sat in front of a whole room of nurses, and I had them do that.
Yeah.
And you would have thought that I just told them they all won the lottery.
Yeah.
They were so excited. They go, "This is just like a real inhaler."
Yeah.
That's what an inhaler is designed to do.
Exactly.
It's designed to make
Pull it up.
cough to force air.
It's a bronchodilate.
Yeah, it's a bronchial dilatation.
Yeah, I just have to share your first reaction. That's the desired reaction.
No, they'll love you for it.
Okay.
And then, just like frankincense under the tongue of someone who's suffering desperately from depression, and you watch the fog lift and they start bawling in front of you, that's a big deal. Okay, that's a big deal. It's huge. It's huge. So you have life, belief, experience, and fear. We're glad you guys came. Thanks so much.